Imagine a person who, at 95 years old, not only still works but also builds a fence in their garden, and then goes to the operating table to assist their colleagues. It seems unbelievable, but this is the true story of cardiac surgeon Ellsworth Wareham, who, despite all predictions, lived to be 104. The secret to his longevity and health lies not only in his exceptional professionalism but also in his unique approach to diet and life. Today, we will explore the unusual habits and principles that help this doctor maintain his vitality and energy for so long. I retired and stopped performing surgeries at 95, although my colleagues asked me to stay. I didn't leave because of my age. My heart, like my whole body, remains healthy. I left to spend more time with my family, doing what I love, said cardiac surgeon Ellsworth Wareham in an interview. In the same interview, Ellsworth promised that he would definitely live to be 100. Some might call this man overly confident, however. By making this promise, he was sure he would fulfill it. Ellsworth Wareham lived to be 104. Throughout his life, the cardiac surgeon frequently mentioned the reason for his longevity, and this is what we will discuss today. When he passed his 90s, journalists visited him. The guests found him doing heavy physical work. He was building a new fence around his house. To build the fence, I need to dig holes 70 centimeters deep, put the posts in them, and cement them. I plan to finish this work in a few days, because after that, I need to be standing at the operating table as an assistant to the lead cardiac surgeon. Ellsworth told his guests about his immediate plans. He was one of the first practitioners of open heart surgery. The cardiac surgeon worked in this field for about 50 years. Every day, he performed several of these operations, which sometimes lasted 6 hours. After no longer being the chief surgeon, he continued to train residents and, until the age of 95, drove his car once or twice a week, traveling 100 kilometers to help his colleagues with surgeries. By the way, Ellsworth discovered his main principle of health and longevity. While standing at the operating table, examining the patients I was operating on, I noticed that the arteries of people who ate mainly plant-based foods remained clean and smooth, while in the arteries of patients who preferred animal-based foods, there were many deposits consisting of cholesterol and calcium. Ellsworth Wareham shared his observation. The heart surgeon noted that he saw people losing fingers and feet due to vascular diseases. He thought more and more about not wanting to share the fate of those people, and at the age of 50, the future centenarian radically changed his diet. Until the end of his days, he was convinced that this was the secret to his active longevity. At the age of 98, he said he felt as good as he did when he was 20 years old. He noted that his joints didn't hurt, he had good coordination, and a sharp mind. At 99, he was still driving his car and taking care of his garden. "If I have any health problems, I don't know, because I don't feel anything," joked the centenarian. "Many hearts have passed through my hands. Many years ago, my colleagues and I traveled to Asian countries to perform open heart surgeries. I realized that people there suffer from diseases in a completely different way. There, we mainly operated on patients with congenital heart defects. We almost never encountered cases of ischemic disease, which is very common in developed countries. Needless to say, the inhabitants of the Asian part of the continent primarily consume plant-based foods." Ellsworth said that he loved eating a lot and enjoying his food at the same time. The heart surgeon only ate twice a day. The first meal was in the morning, and the second time Ellsworth sat down to eat was at 4 p.m. "Every morning, I eat a large plate of whole grains that I eat with soy milk. During this time, I also eat a lot of fruit and always a handful of nuts. My first meal also includes whole wheat toast with nut butter and a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice," said Ellsworth. Ellsworth's second meal included a large portion of beans, raw vegetables, and the mandatory handful of nuts. "Many people consider nuts to be the most beneficial, but I don't eat just them. I like almonds and peanuts. Advocates of healthy eating will say that nuts should be eaten raw, but I often eat salted peanuts. However, I have completely given up on white sugar. I get my sugar from other sources, fruits and dried fruits." The heart surgeon. As for drinks, Ellsworth was also selective, according to the heart surgeon. In the second half of his life, he drank nothing but orange juice and water. "I drink at least 6 glasses of water a day. I believe that consuming this amount of pure liquid helps reduce weight. My morning always starts with 2 glasses of water at the beginning of the day. I try to drink as much as possible because I might forget later due to work. And I have one more rule. If I pass by a water source, I definitely stop to drink from it." Ellsworth Wareham said, "When I was a doctor, I tried to explain to patients that animal-based foods are not good for them. However, this topic turned out to be very sensitive. If the patient is willing to listen, I explain why a plant-based diet is more beneficial from a scientific point of view. Studies show that among proponents of this diet, there is a very low level of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and obesity, and they live an average of 10 years longer than others. He was convinced that consuming animal products, except for mother's milk, is not a natural need for humans, but merely a dietary habit. For example, if a person is used to very salty foods, a meal without salt will seem tasteless. However, if you gradually reduce the amount of salt in food every day, eventually the salt lover will stop noticing the difference. Any dietary habit can be changed in just 3 months, the centenarian claimed. I grew up in a farming family where meat products and milk were on the table every day. I was used to this food, but after 50 I gradually switched to whole grains, beans, and nuts. I sometimes include a small amount of dairy products, eggs, and salmon in my diet. I think that is why I feel good. I am absolutely sure that I will live to be 100. His story is not just an example of outstanding medical professionalism but also proof that the principles of health and longevity can be accessible to everyone. Ellsworth Wareham showed us that the key to a long and healthy life is not only proper nutrition and physical activity but also determination, the ability to change habits, and a love for life. His advice on balanced nutrition, including more plant-based foods and giving up sugar, are universal recommendations that we can adapt to our own lifestyle. Remember, every positive change is a step towards a long and happy life. Like, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends so that more people can learn how to live long and joyfully. Until next time.